I'm Dr. Stirling Hastings in Camarillo, California. I'm a psychologist in practice here, talking more about the subject of shame, which is really the bad feeling that underlies all of our difficulties worldwide. The way that politicians, international people make decisions about war and about ways of interacting with each other are really based on shame, the same way that families are. The circular arguments that cause so much trouble are based on the feelings of shame, as each person then has to defend against it. So today I would like to talk a little bit about dogs. I have my little Rocky dog, who is a Pomeranian, a black Pomeranian, about 12 pounds, 11 something pounds, who I got 3 years ago as an adult. We think he was 4 to 5 years old at that time. I have always been a cat person, so this has been quite an experience for me to have this little guy who just keeps his eyes on me so much of the time, like, what are you doing? What are we doing next? Are we going to do something? And when we're sitting in the car, he sits in the passenger seat and he's always looking at me, right? He can be actually falling asleep and his eyes come open the moment I look at him. You dog people who are listening to this know exactly what I'm talking about. So in terms of shame, when I'm really looking at what's going on in my world, I realize that this is the one relationship where I am never shamed. Now, he might have plenty of other feelings like disappointment when I tell him, stay, Rocky. When I'm heading to the door, when of course he wants to go with me, and he slinks over and sits down someplace away from me, maybe under the dining room table or over next to the couch. And he feels bad, but he's not shaming me for that. He's expressing his feelings. And then, of course, when I tell him that we're going to his favorite place, the Park, he's in the room, so I'm not going to say it. When I say that's where we're going, you know how they react then, right? It's jumping up and down, yelping, whimpering, spinning on the seat of the car, and so on. So, of course, there's no shaming there. Why is it that we can't do that with each other? Why is it that not a single one of us has made it through our lives and maybe even made it through our day without shaming someone? For example, the one shaming that I notice that I still do is drivers. Not the drivers that are barreling down the freeway and getting in my way, where normally you would swear at them. I have trouble with what I call stupid drivers, the people that don't signal when they should, or they're driving too slowly, or they're getting in your way in some way, or even things that I make up. Like last night, I was driving home, and the person in front of me was taking their sweet time. Hear my shaming tone? Taking their sweet time turning into the grocery store parking lot and slowing me down. And ahead of me is the green light. And I want to get through the green light. And you know what my crazy thinking brain makes up? Is that this person is going slowly just to keep me from going through that light. Oh my goodness. Don't you all have this kind of crazy thinking too? And you know that it's crazy? Sometimes when people really get into circular arguments, they don't know that it's crazy. They think that their partner is really doing something to cause them distress because they're feeling distress when the partner isn't. Well, clearly I knew throughout this that the person pulling into the parking lot was not trying to do anything to me. And luckily the light didn't turn yellow and I made it through. And I've been comparing these kinds of experiences with how Rocky interacts with me. He's just sweet and loving, and he lets me know what he wants, and he certainly expresses disappointment, but he doesn't act like I've done something wrong to him. Now, we've been having rainy days, so it's been hard to get out, although this can be true even when we don't. When I'm really busy doing something and I don't want to take him out, either to his favorite place or just on a walk. But he's had enough sleep and he's kind of bored, and because he has not good teeth, he doesn't play with toys, so I kind of have to entertain him. And he will come over to me and ask to be lifted up on the couch. He can't jump up himself because of back issues. And I'll lift him up and he'll give me those wide-eyed looks, how dogs do, and they're just so cute, and they're looking at you, and let's do it, let's go, let's do something, something, something. You know how they do that? And when I tell him, no, we're not going anywhere, I'm staying right here with my computer, he doesn't shame me for that. So this has actually been a quite wonderful experience in knowing that this is how we humans should all be with each other. We can want somebody to do something. We can really, really want them to do something. And when they say, no, I'm sorry, but I'm staying home and I'm going to be on my computer, not entertaining at all. Why do we want to shame them for that? Why do we want to shame them for that? That's a big question that has to do with, in general, the whole subject of shame. Where did it come from? Adam and Eve, have their accounting. I don't know about that. Historically, it certainly has been passed down from generation to generation. As children are shamed by their parents, they in turn shame siblings, other people, and then their spouses and their own children. It certainly is passed down, but where did it get started? And why are people not able to just say, I'm not going to receive shaming anymore? Or I'm not going to be giving out shaming at people anymore. Why can't we do that? Well, actually, Dr. Joe Dispenza explains that well with neural pathways that are formed, and that those kinds of thoughts and words are habitual, and he even calls it addictive. People are addicted to all kinds of negative understandings of things or negative approach to things. I recommend his book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. Incredible book that gives you actual meditation methods for changing this wiring. And then you could, of course, meditate on what it feels like to shame people. And then when he invites you to shift to how you want to be, you can imagine yourself not shaming people. If you have a dog, use your dog as a model, the way I kind of inadvertently did with Rocky. Their lives feel so much better because they're not shaming us. So much better than ours when we shame other people. Because what are we doing when we're shaming? We're pushing them away from us. We're saying, you're bad, awful, get away, or I'm moving away. Dogs don't do that unless they're afraid that you're going to physically hurt them. Then, of course, they do. But they're being boundaried. They're being boundaried, which still is not shaming you. So, pet your dog and notice who he or she is. Now I'm curious to hear what you have to say. I would love a comment about a time that you felt like your dog maybe shamed you, or even stories about how they don't shame you. So feel free to share this video with your friends, family, or someone you know who is struggling with shame. Please like and subscribe for more videos. I look forward to speaking with all of you next week.